Hi guys, Squall here, back with another train simulator video. Now, Just Trains have just released this thing, the Chiltern Mainline, London to Birmingham route. I thought we'd take a look at this today. This is the manual itself, the web page gives you more details. The Chiltern Mainline basically runs from like Marylebone up to Birmingham. It's quite a long route. It says on the spec here 112 miles, 14 standard scenarios, and 40 custom-built stations. It actually lists all the stations here in glorious detail, and gives you a whole bunch of things to look at the route on the route, and then it explains on the webpage as well what stations there are, scenarios and stations, and what train you will need, what locomotive. And this is the important thing about this stuff. I'll show you that in a second. Let me show you the manual first. It's quite a good manual. It basically goes through you know, what's in it. And what I like about it is, you know, you got this thing which shows you the entire route here, London Marylebone down the bottom, all the stops on the route there, all the way up to Birmingham. It has a bunch of London Underground stations on which aren't physically connected to the line itself, but you can see them when you go past because they're very close by. There are parts of this line that run alongside the London Underground track, and if you're on the train itself, you can actually see it. It's something I've done myself. Now, if you scroll through this thing, the manual, you can see that it gives you nice photographs of all the different stations, which is quite nice, because then you can, you know, think, oh, I quite fancy going there, and you can find a route or quick drive it. It is quick drive compatible to go and take a look at these things. There's also some landmarks down here. If I keep scrolling, Leamington Spa, I used to live there. Keep scrolling, and then you get these little landmarks like the shopping centre and the BT Tower and that kind of thing. So it's pretty good. So what, you know, the thing to watch out for is this. These are the scenarios here, the 14 scenarios. And you can see, you know, I happen to have the JT Class 165, so I can drive this scenario. I also happen to have the Voyager Advanced, the JT Class 220. And I have, you know, various other things. I don't have this, the Class 68. If it doesn't have JT on the front, then that's a Steam loco. So the Class 68, do I even have it open on my Steam? Yes, I do. There you go. The Class 68 here. It's not a Just Trains thing, but it's another £12 add-on, which generally, you know, it has more or less has a positive rating, but there are, you know, I look through here, there's a few bits and pieces that aren't that positive. If you buy this and want to run all the scenarios, the point is, you may not be able to without buying more stuff. So the JT Class 67, for example, is something you're going to have to buy. The 165 if you want to run 3 of the scenarios. So just be aware of that. You know, there are requirements as you go through this to drive the scenarios, but you can quick drive the whole thing. And the actual track itself is, you know, there's 112 miles of track. It's quite long. And I thought today what we'd do is we'd look at this one. We'd look at the Snow Hill to Marylebone. The reason I picked this is because if we look at the routing, Snow Hill is at one end, and Marylebone is at the other. I think there's about 9 stops on the way, so we're going to be jumping through a lot of this stuff. The scenario itself is a 2-hour, almost, 110 minutes. So I'm going to do this in 2 parts. We're going to do part 1 and a part 2. Each will be about an hour-long video, but we should get to see the entire track. It's a 3-bar, medium difficulty, so I'm expecting, you know, a couple of signalling things on the way, perhaps. And a fairly tight timetable. That's my expectation of this scenario. I've not played it through myself, so this is first time seeing it. You'll see it and I'll see it, but it will give us an overview of the whole thing. So let's get started. Right, here we are. It's just thrown us straight in here. Not really sure what we're meant to do. Good morning, driver. Please depart immediately. Your first stop in the service is London. In London is Birmingham Moor Street, 11:14 to 11:15. Okay, half a mile down to Moor Street to pick up. Let's put our headlights on. Window doesn't open. Let's put the reverser in place. What's the speed limit? 15. Okay, let's get moving. What's it like in the back there? Ooh. Blimey, it's quiet. Okay, I haven't had a chance to look at this train properly yet. Okay, let's slow it down. So our first stop is Moore Street, half a mile. Slow down, slow down, slow down. So it looks like we've started in... I'm not sure what we've started in. Not sure what platform that is. Snow Hill. That was Snow Hill. We didn't have to pick up passengers in Snow Hill, so it's automatically assumed we're going to do that. And now we're going to go down to Moore Street. My life, this is dark in here. Oh my god, I can't see a thing. Where's the cab light? I cannot see a thing. And also, I think we're going downhill, you know. We are as well. Look at this. Look at this gradient. Like, I'm on minus 30% here. And it's actually speeding up. Look at that. It feels like one of those rides at the theme park. You know, the ones that go underground and it's really dark and then you can't see whether you're going up or down. And you can feel yourself flying down, but you can't see a thing. It kind of feels like that. Blimey. I should have looked for a cab light. Thing is, I didn't really get a chance to. Like, it just said, oh, off you go. What's the timetable like? See, we've got an 11:15 pickup, and my ETA is already 11:15, so I had no chance to get familiar with the loco. Oh, there's the light. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. These headlamps, all my life. I mean, CSX Heavy Haul is out and based on Unreal Engine. I've yet to see proper tunnel work on that thing, but the tunnel lighting on this is horrendously bad. Well, I can actually see inside the cab. We'll have to try and figure out what the cab light is. Birmingham Moore Street. So we're more or less on time. Where should we stop? Start braking. Yeah, that's fine. I suppose we should be stopping 5 car, 6 car. This'll do. Not too fussed. Right, let's have a quick look around. This is Moore Street, not to be confused with Birmingham New Street, which is the big, kind of international one. Oh, another train coming in. You stick your head out the window in this thing. Oh, you can. Look at that. Yay! Hey, put your headlights on, pal. Did they not teach you anything in train school? Blimey. Right, next stop is Solihull, 11:23. Oh, we get a little buzzer. Nice. Okay, off we go. Gently accelerate. 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. It's not bad modelling, actually. But I shut up then because I heard the woman talking. Yeah, first impressions of the modeling's not bad. It's pretty good. Let's get it up to 30. I'll have a look outside. Okay, let's see. That's 6.4 miles to Solihull. Back off on the old throttle there. Need to work out... I think is I don't know what the braking's like on this. Usually, these kind of diesel-electric things typically have, I think, the power... I don't know this class, but I'm guessing it has the kind of power reclamation type braking, which more or less means it'll start to slow you down reasonably well, but as you start to get to low speeds, the braking's not that great. But until I try it, I don't know. I don't know what distance to start braking from, that's what I'm trying to say. In a very long-winded fashion. DIY, I'm pretty certain that should say B&Q. DIY, it's in the style of B&Q, which is a DIY store. Yeah, you look around, it's not bad, the frame rates are coping. And sort of see the distance there is just nothing. You can almost feel like the tile is here, you know. Okay, we're up to 60. Let's punch it, Chewy. Yeah, I was looking for a cab light. I'm not even sure it's modelled, you know. Disappointingly, there's no window you can open. Wow, there's not a lot of stuff has been modelled on this. This was the Just Trains one, wasn't it? JT logo? Kind of expected a bit more, to be honest. What is modelled? Engine start. Okay, Okay. Can't find a cab light switch anywhere at all. Just floating my cursor over anything that's switchable. There's not a lot to do. What's that? Windscreen wipers. Nope, I have no idea where the cab light is, which is slightly worrying because... Track was an L. Nope. It's slightly worrying because if I was to do a night scenario in this logo, that wouldn't bode very well at all unless I can find the light switch. Maybe I'm being stupid. Wow, there's a lot of track here. Look at all this overgrown track on the right. Okay, I wasn't full throttle. That was probably a mistake. Yeah, look, our ETA is now... Oh no, we're late already. Too busy trying to find the light. Forgot to go full throttle on it. Right, there's a station coming up called Tylesley. We've gone through Small Heath. This is... Or is this Small Heath? This might be Small Heath, actually. Yeah, I think it is. So Tylesley coming up. And then we've got... Still got 4.7 miles. Let's back off on the throttle. What the cruise power is on this. We'll have to figure it out as we go along, I'm afraid. That's a great camera. That's what I was hoping for. Nice trackside camera. Let's give it a toot. It always makes me chuckle when you get that kind of Doppler effect, and it makes the train sound like it's really depressed. Like, brilliant. Yeah, there's a whole load of track modelling here. Stacks of pallets on the left there, I think. Yeah, quite industrial, Birmingham. So, in case you don't know much about the UK layout, which, you know, if you don't live in the UK, you probably won't. London, you go from London to Birmingham, think of it like a clock. More or less, you'll be going like 10 or 11 o'clock to get out on that radial up towards Birmingham. Kind of like northwest, but more of a north-northwest. On the way, you have the let me get this right, the M40, I think, will run fairly close to this. Let me think, the M4 goes west, that goes out at 9 o'clock. The M1 tends to go north out of London, which is at 12 o'clock. And the M40 will take you up towards Warwick, Leamington Spa, which is basically where this journey goes. So, I don't know if you could see this line from the M40. But, what station is that then? Could be Acox Green, maybe? Just looking at I've got the route open on my second monitor so that we can see what we're doing here. Hey, that's quite a nice little... What's that there? Some apartment blocks. Ooh. But what I'm trying to say is, when we get out of London, or when we get out of Birmingham, which are obviously, you know, commercial industrial sectors, there's quite nice countryside up there. As you kind of wind your way through Oxfordshire. Very nice country. So I'm hoping to see some nice things. Some nice countryside. Whoa, frame lag. Right, I'm full throttle, but I can't get anywhere near that track limit of 90. That could be Alton Station. So there's a lot of apartment blocks here. So this is a fairly big commuter belt, really. On the way, you've got places like Banbury and Bicester, and some of the other kind of, you know, bigger towns. There's a lot of people who will commute here down into London Marylebone every day. Hence why you should see a few of these guys, you know, basically the commuter runs. Hang on, Solihull platform is us. We need to start braking. I don't know what to brake, but I'd better start by... Because we're at 0.8 of a mile, and I have no idea the braking capabilities of this train. 11:23, your ETA is slightly off. We lost some speed. I can't get to that track speed at the moment of 90. Okay, looks like we've got some decent braking here. Let me just back off. Otherwise we're going to be wasting a lot of time. 0.4. Okay, let's get it back under control. Wow, actually, it does brake fairly aggressively once you get over that 50% mark. I've kind of overdone it a little bit on the braking, but it's probably better to be over-braking until I understand the loco better. Okay, let's start giving it some welly. Okay, Solihull platform. Okay, please brake. Please slow down. You really need to start slowing down now. Oh my god, I feel like putting my foot out and just sticking it on the platform like, slow down. That's not a bad first effort, actually. That could have gone a lot worse. We're slightly off our time, but that ain't bad at all. Let's get those doors... Oh, no, wrong button. Let's get those doors open. There we go. Solihull platform. On a lovely sunny day. I think this scenario takes place during the summer of 2016, like August 2016, which is why it's all very sunny and the leaves are beautiful and yeah, it's just nice English countryside, to be honest with you. Departure is 11:23. We are so late now. Is he not going to toot us? No? Okay. Right, I really am going to have to punch it now, otherwise we're going to be super late for the entire thing. I hope there's some places on the way where we can kind of claw back the time. Actually, notice this. It says pick up passengers from Leamington Spa. But there's no arrival departure time here. It's almost like there's an untimed segment there. A schedule change. I'm not sure what's going on, actually. But that's definitely noticeable. Let's have a look at this. Show task. Actually, let me just show you the track here. You can see how big this thing is. It's huge. Look at that. It's massive. There's Marylebone. Bicester. Look at that section from Bicester to Marylebone. Banbury. Leamington Spa. All the major stops en route. All the major stops en route on what is actually a very long scenario. So, you know, £25 is it for this thing? You get 40 odd stations. It's not bad value for money, to be honest. There's a lot of modelling here. My only gripe about it is this kind of, you know, building scenarios using other trains that you have to buy. It's just all very annoying. I'd like to send, you know, at least half of the scenarios, at least half of them, using stuff that comes with the base train simulator. So if you do drop £25 on this scenario, you're not then sat there going, well, I can't actually drive a lot of these things. Yeah, you can, you know, quick route the whole thing and drive it that way, but... And my other irk with this game is the fact that nobody can make career scenarios apart from Dovetail, but that's never going to change. That's a long-standing problem. Right, where are we? Solihull. That was Widney Manor, I think. I think that was Widney Manor. So yeah, expect a lot of countryside between here and Marylebone. Next stop, Dorridge, 1.5 miles. Okay, that's a... Look at this. This is a downhill stopper. So I'm going to start by braking about a mile out, I think. We'll keep full throttle to about a mile out, and then we're going to go for about a 50-60% brake and see what happens. Pretty frequent service, this. Right, 64% brake engaged at 1 mile out. Let's see where that gets us. Try and learn the braking capabilities of this thing. Okay, down to 60. Alright, I'm going to back off. We've got that under control big time. Dorridge. Comes after Dorridge. Warwick Parkway. I used to live in Warwick many years ago. It's quite a nice village, Warwick. Warwick Castle's really worth going to. If you're ever in Warwick, go to Warwick Castle. On a summer's day, it's lovely. And Leamington Spa is nice. It's a nice place. Joined right up to Warwick. Which I think we stop at Leamington Spa. Yes, we do. Right after Warwick is Leamington Spa, but we've got a couple of Warwick things and then a Leamington Spa. Okay, not doing bad on the braking at all. And so we're supposed to be stopping there at 6, but we didn't. We overshot slightly. But it's all good. What time was that? 11:28 arrival, 11:28 departure. Again, we're going to be slightly late, but we're kind of clawing the time back. So this is Dorridge. Never been here. Know nothing about this town whatsoever. I assume the platform is probably fairly accurate in the car park, and then the housing will be completely not accurate. That's generally how these things work. That is a small car park. Blimey. It's obviously a village stop, which is interesting because this is a fast train route, so I've expected it to I'd expect it to only stop at major stops. Bit of a slow at getting going, this thing, look at it. You can almost feel the engine going, come on. It's like, feel the weight of it. It really takes its time getting going. Okay, full throttle. Next stop is Warwick Parkway, 10 miles away, and as you can see here, arriving 11:38, ETA is 11:39. If this was career mode, we're going to be losing a few points. Not too many, but it's not career mode, so it doesn't matter. We're kind of here to enjoy the scenario and experience the Chiltern Mainline. Frames. Look at these disused tracks here, just kind of into the sidings, and you can tell by the tree overgrowth that nothing goes down there anymore. That's the thing about nature is, you know, once these trains stop hurtling down here, it doesn't take long for it all to grow back all over the track, and where the carriages would normally clip it away as well, it just grows back very quickly. Okay, 8 miles. We can take an outside view. In fact, let's do a trackside, if we can get a trackside one. There we go. 2D grass on the floor, lovely. Watch the grass rotate towards us. Look at that. I always love the 2D rotating grass. There is an option with this thing when you install it to have 2D or 3D track. I've gone for the 2D track. In my experience, the 3D track, it does look better, but it's a bit heavy on the frames, you know. And I mean, this looks fine to me. I'd rather have the frames, and I don't really see the point in having a 3D track, and then you've got all this 2D grass at the side, which kind of turns and faces to look at you like a sunflower. Look at it. See it? So I don't really see the point in a 3D track when everything else is 2D. Even the trees are a fake 3D. They're kind of 2D planes, you know. Warwick Parkway Platform 1, Warwick Platform 1. Have a very quick look at that on here. So Parkway is there, Warwick Platform is there, and then Leamington Spa is here. So they are very close to each other. We're going to be making 3 stops in quick succession. And then after Leamington, these are very big jumps. I mean, Banbury to Bicester, Bicester to Marylebone. I mean, that last one though is huge. You know, Bicester is quite a long way outside of London, so that's got to be, if I had to guess, 40-50 miles maybe. It's quite a jump, that one. Okay, that frame stoppage there, that's just the scenery loading. That's a facet of the engine, I'm afraid. The graphics engine. Again, I'm full throttle, and I can't get anywhere near the track speed. But, very nice scenery. Pan out a little bit. Get a better view. I think because there is quite a lot of modelling, that's why we're seeing these kind of frame lags. You know, as the way these things work, as we pass through certain tiles, it will know the next tile along, and it doesn't, the graphics engine in Train Simulator doesn't stream it in. Like, it doesn't, what it should do is it should look at the tiles ahead where we're going, and then start to background load it in. What it seems to do is load it in big chunks, and that's when you see the frame go when it loads it in. So it's not, you know, it's not particularly well optimized. The Unreal Engine is pretty good at streaming stuff, and so's the Frostbite engine, but they're kind of, you know, multi-million-dollar company engines. So, and this isn't. Although I think Dovetail is a PLC and is a multi-million-dollar company, so one might argue, why couldn't they find the resources to actually build a proper streaming graphics engine? I don't know. It's an interesting question. But in any event, they've gone for the Unreal Engine for the future, so they don't need to worry about it anymore. What they need to do, though, is worry about how to optimize on the Unreal Engine. And, you know, if you look at CSX Heavy Haul, there are times, particularly on a summer day when the draw distance is big, there are times when it does struggle. Wait, we need to slow down. I've just noticed the 85 limit coming in. Slow down. Okay, we just about made this. Just about made that speed drop. We are going down a fairly steep hill now, so I'm just going to keep my eye on the speeds here. I think the reason for the 85 is because if they didn't have it, I think these things, you'd quickly pick up to 100, and there's some fairly sharp turns here for 100 for a commuter train. Not been keeping an eye on the stations. I'm not really sure what we just passed through. Given that we're going towards Warwick Parkway, it could have been either Hatton or Lapworth. Oh, it's speeding. That is a heck of a drop. Okay, let's full throttle it. Let's try and get up to the 90 track speed while we're going downhill. If I had to guess, I'd say it was Hatton. Okay, we're only 2 miles away from Warwick Parkway. .3 miles. How are we doing in the back here? We all good? Yeah, just chilling out there, bro? Right, we are 1 mile away. Let's begin. 60%. We are going quite a bit quicker than we were last time when we started braking at 1 mile out, so I'm just gonna allow a bit more time to slow down. Warwick Parkway Platform 1, ETA 11:38. We've clawed our time back, actually. Notice the timings of these things. You depart and arrive, in all cases, you depart and arrive in the same minute that you stop. So, you know, it really is quite a fast turnaround. There it is over there. Wow, look at the next stop. We'll be lucky if we get up to 60 before we have to make the next stop. Okay, 30 miles per hour coming into the start of the platform. It looks like quite a long platform, this one. So we should be okay. Never been to this one either. Hey, look at that. Somebody's stopping at the same time. How cool is that? Now that looks pretty awesome. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Stopping at the same time as another train like that is cool. Yo, dude. Flat caps, mate. What are you doing? That is so last century. Possibly even the one before. Well, life. It's living in the past. It's weird, isn't it, when you look back at history? Like, flat caps. Like, almost everybody used to wear them. If you go back to the early 1900s in England, they were just... everybody had them. I mean, it was weird not to. But even before then, people had hats. Like, hat makers were a common thing. And I think temperatures were lower back then, so... And obviously you didn't have central heating and that kind of thing. So I'm guessing a part of it was down to just... not only social things, but just, you know... trying to keep warm, trying to keep your head warm. There's probably a lot of it. So everybody had hats on, like flat caps or top hats or whatever it was. And then some were in, I'd say, what, the 40s, 1940s, 1950s? As a kind of the industrial era started to end in England, that's when the flat cap seemed to just disappear. And by the time you got to the 70s, it was only the old guard that still had them. And now, blimey. If you see somebody in a flat cap now, it stands out. You know, wow, you got a flat cap on. But even just a hat in general, like, people just don't seem to wear hats. Apart from, like, fashion hats, like ladies, you know, go to Ascot or whatever, they wear fashion hats, but they're just so not common now. Okay, we did get back up to 60. 11:41 arrival, we're currently on time for that. This is going to be difficult to judge. .4 of a mile. Okay, let's start braking. Not 100%, good grief. That is one of the shortest stops. That is actually insane. Trying to see what the signal lights are on. This is a lovely little tree-lined countryside route, isn't it? Like this platform here. It's a staggered platform, but it's just completely surrounded by trees. And this is Warwick. I wonder why some stations are designed with staggered platforms. Like, what's the reasoning? What's the criteria? Stop here. So this is where we should be for the 6. No one on a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, we are. Everybody off. Maybe it's just a physical layout and geography and stuff that decides whether it's going to be a staggered platform or an opposite platform. I don't know. Well, how do you get from here to here? Where's the staircase? Where's the bridge? Maybe it's just not been modelled. Right, what have we got now? Next stop is Leamington Spa, platform 3, which has this weird time break in it. Oh, now we got a buzzer. Hey, nice hat. It's not quite a flat. What do they call that? A bowler hat, is it? Guy in a suit with a hat. It's amazing. It's odd. It's like the characters have come out of a different scenario. There's a scenario. I can't remember if it's a Just Trains one. I think it's the Falmouth branch line, something like that, where it's all the people in it are very oldie worldy in their dress code, and I'm just beginning to wonder if that's where they came from. Okay, 1.8 miles. It's only just down the road, and we don't have a time limit to get there, so I've also got a schedule change here. Yeah, I mean, There's nothing there that makes me think Warwick. Absolutely nothing. Right, we've got some track speeds coming up. We've actually got speed limit signalling as well coming up. So we need to pay some attention now. Start slowing down. It's nice to actually get some signalling in here, you know. Give us something to think about. It's lovely cruising along, being able to look at a new scenery in the countryside, but you know, I do wonder about that Banbury down to London stretch is just going to be non-stop green. If it is, it's going to be a little bit. You need something to keep you on your toes, you know. Right, should have an AWS coming up. There it is. Okay, well within the 40 now. Got another drop down to 30. We're possibly going to change track, I'm not sure. I can't really remember what Leamington Spa station looks like. It's been that long since I've been there. Yeah, there we go. Quick shimmy off the main track. Makes sense, keep the centre 2 for the fast pull off onto the platform. Track design like that just makes sense. Wow, as if. Locking your bike on the platform. Do they really do that at Leamington? That would be amazing. I don't know any station that does that. Oops, wrong way. Okay, let's see what happens here, because I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen at this point. Maybe it's just going to carry on. But I think that's probably a suitable place to end part 1. We're probably coming up in around 50 minutes. So the next one is going to be about 50 minutes long. Okay, next stop, Banbury 12302. Okay, that's it for this video, guys. In the next one, we'll carry on the way down to London in Chiltern Mainline's part 2. Don't miss it.